Moving to Eufaula, Alabama was like a culture shock, and I'll tell you why. But I did miss Nikki. I did keep in touch with her by calling her from time to time. Being in Eufaula was different. The culture was different, meeting new friends. It was kind of racist as well. Something to get used to. We moved to Bluff Park Apartments. My auntie, she moved to Bluff Park Apartments as well. My grandma, she lived off of Gammas Road. My other auntie, Peaches, she moved to Barber Creek Apartments. I remember getting a whooping from mama for something I did. I don't know what the whooping was for, but I couldn't dress out. So when I was in gym, I'm walking around with this guy named Will and his crew. I didn't dress out because I had belt welts all on my legs, and I didn't want to get laughed at, so I didn't want to dress out. My cousin JJ went to Eufaula High too, so we're both getting acclimated, meeting people, and getting accustomed to what's going on in Eufaula. My grandma talked my mama into letting me play football, so I made it on the football team, but I wasn't a running back. They made me play as a defensive end, which was crazy. Segregation in Eufaula was on 10. You had the group of blacks hanging in the Hardee's parking lot, then you had the group of white people hanging in the Winn-Dixie parking lot. They had little gangs and cliques in Eufaula. That is one little clique called the Four Horsemen, they call themselves, trying to wreak havoc, fighting against other cities like Clayton and Abbeville. Cat in Eufaula named Perry, well respected. He fought a lot. He was a running back on the football team, ladies' man. Boy, he liked to fight though. My mom was still with that, keeping me inside shenanigans and, you know, being strict on me. Where when I hung at Peach's house, I had freedom. It's a funny thing. It turned out that my auntie Peaches started dating the guy that I met, the first guy I met named William, in high school now. That was funny. So I used to go around and make this joke, calling William my uncle, since he dated my aunt. You know, William didn't take no shit off of nobody either, though. I had a nemesis in Eufaula, though. His name was Gianni. This dude liked to fight, and he dated this girl in Bluff Park. The girl he dated in Bluff Park, I had a mini crush on. I didn't really have a super crush on her, but, you know, I think she liked me, though, on the low. Her name was Shakima. I remember one day we were at Bluff Park at the swing set talking, and Gianni came up behind me and choked the shit out of me. The only reason why he choked me, though, he called me from behind, he snuck up behind me, he choked me and put me to sleep. Now all I can remember before I went to sleep was Shakima yelling at him. From that point, I wanted to get that nigga, Gianni. You know what I mean? But he had too many of his crew around him. I really don't face off with Gianni until later on when I come back to Eufaula, but that's later on in the story. So remember that. So I'm getting more acclimated to Eufaula, meeting girls, smashing, and I get my first job working at Lynn's Cash and Carry and Food Fair. My mom taking my money, I get paid, and I don't get much money. She take my check and she use it for whatever. So I really never had no money for myself. Since my mom was taking my money from work, I used to sell weed on the side, and that was to keep money in my pocket since she would take mine. I kept a shoebox full of weed all the time. Shoebox full of weed. I probably had about 2-3 ounces of weed. I sell that. My mom found that shoebox one day. I came home from school and she said, "What is this?" And I looked at her. I want to say, "What you think it is?" Boy, my mom took that shoebox and flushed all that fucking weed down the fucking toilet. I was so pissed. I'm like, man, really? My mom gave me an ass whooping after that too. Called my Uncle Larry and he gave me an ass whooping. But he understood, but he had to do what his sister say. So I used to get that whooping. Well, whoopings with Uncle Larry wasn't whoopings though. He used to give me beatings, punches to the chest. That shit used to be annoying as fuck, punching me to the chest all the time. Well, and after all that, you know, beatings and shit, I'm still on the football team, and we made the playoffs, but get beat by Greenville in the first round. Cousin JJ playing basketball, and they teasing him and calling him Slewfoot and shit. And, you know, I got stick up to my cousin and shit, and, you know, it's crazy. Now I started to build a name for myself in Eufaula a little bit, you know, and hanging around, you know, Matthew Grant, Matthew, he was funny. Matthew and I used to get into a lot of goddamn trouble, boy. We used to pull fire alarms in school. We used to steal money from the teachers. Matthew and I used to run trains on girls. But the thing is, the girls was willing for that, though. It wasn't like we just did it to be doing it. Girls be wanting both of us to smash. It was funny.